Dude, amazing story, resilient as hell. How'd you get into water?
All right, so it is 2021. Well, let me take you back a little bit.
Yeah, man.
In 2018, I had a member that was an investor in Liquid Death.
Yeah.
And he introduced me to the product. And I'm a water drinker, and I've always have been. I literally only drink water.
Me too.
And so I thought it was like the coolest thing ever to be able to finally drink water like a normal person and not some cheese ball with a plastic bottle. So I thought it was a genius marketing play, a genius concept. And I started buying a ton of Liquid Death. Then he actually asked me to invest in the company.
Yeah.
And I took it to my existing business partner and we talked about it, but he said the evaluation was way too high and it's probably not the move. Then I was like, just kind of sitting there and I was really like staring at my logo.
Yeah.
And kind of looking at their can, and I was like, I think I can do this.
Yeah.
I was like, I can do my own water. And so there was another member that was in the beer industry. So I was and beer comes in cans. So I was asking him like, hey, do you do water? And he was like, well, no, but let's do a beer. So my very first beverage was actually a beer.
Oh, really?
And
okay.
I did it with J.W. Wakefield, who makes fantastic beer. And we made an electrolyte raspberry beer.
Very cool.
Low ABV. It was like 4% alcohol. And people loved it. And the can looked just like the black can. So the can looked just like the black can. And we were selling at Total Wines for like $9. And it was a big success. And so when we first started doing the beverage stuff, we thought we were going to do beer. But we absolutely, after hearing about the 3-tier system and all this. Then it just wasn't really on brand. So we just heavily, shifted gears and pivoted really fast to water. But how I was able to open a beverage company was I was trying to raise money for the gyms.
Got it.
And Adam Siegel, my biggest partner and great friend. So he's like the numbers savant. He worked for Fortress for 17 years and a Bear Stearns guy, New York finance, all that. So, and he's fantastic. We're very good. Like, I'm the muscle and he's the brain, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm very street smart, but he is really smart.
Sure.
It's like a different level of the way he thinks. So, and I've learned a lot from him and I think vice versa. We just complement each other very well. So we're trying to raise money for the gyms and he is doing business in Jamaica. He's running a, NFE was a New Fortress Energy. He was running an LNG plant, natural gas plant, for his boss Wes Edens, the owner of the Milwaukee Bucks. So he introduced me to a man named William Mahfood. William Mahfood owns Wisynco, which is the largest food and beverage distribution company in the English-speaking Caribbean and Jamaica. So we get him to Coral, and he also has family and kids that live in Coral Gables. Okay. So we bring him to the Coral Gables location. I'm talking about the gym. I'm trying to sell him on this whole journey. Yeah. And I mean, the guy was just all he did was stare at the beverage cooler.
Really?
And respectfully. Obviously, he was just really paying attention to the beverage cooler. And we have a pretty big beverage cooler at the Coral Gables location. So he turns to me in his Jamaican accent and says, have you ever, who do you get your beverages from? Yeah. And then have you ever thought about doing your own beverages? And then I was like, hell yes, I want to do my own water. And then we start, I want to do that. I want to do it in the can. Have you ever heard of Liquid Death? Then I start selling them on that. So, after 7 meetings and all this stuff, we end up going to dinner with his son, Joseph. And we really just start talking about what I wanted for the brand and where I wanted to take it. And I had an apparel company also. And I really leaned into what I believe is going to ultimately be where we go with the brand is the movement. It's I've always wanted something that went beyond a product, beyond a service, beyond a brick and mortar business, something that you could attach to your life, whether you're wearing it, consuming it, or going to it. Just Do It. One of my favorite movies, Pay It Forward. I don't know if you've seen it.
Of course. That's a good movie. It's a good movie.
When I watched that movie, I was like, I want to be that guy. Yeah. I want to make an impact like that. Yeah. Don't want to die afterwards, but I want to, but
it's solid for people.
And so I was telling him that, and he's like, look, I'm not really into gyms. Yeah. He's like, I don't understand the business. I've never been a part of it, and it sounds like it's a tough business, but I know beverages, and that's what I do. He's like, let's open up a beverage company, and let's do this. And so me, Adam, and William, we open up Indio Bev LLC, and we started on this journey of developing our own water in a can. So we were playing on the sustainability.
Yeah.
And then also what we did was Liquid Death disrupted the budget water space. So they disrupted the Zephyr Hills, the Poland Springs, the Aquafinas, the Dasanis, right? I looked at it and I was like, okay, we don't want to like go head to head with an established brand that's already valued. I mean, now they're valued at over $1 billion.
Crazy.
Back then they were valued at
Super Bowl
$200 million. Exactly. So I was like, we don't want to play that game.
Yeah.
And also like, you know, they already kind of own that world. They're the Doritos of canned water is how I saw it. I was like, let's be the steak. I was like, let's go after it like we are the premium player in this new way of doing water.
Yeah.
So immediately I thought of, well, how can we put a stamp on the fact that we're going to be the premium canned water in the game? I have relationships with all these professional athletes.
Right.
Let me contact my people at Miami Heat and let me see if I can just get in the door with this idea of replacing Fiji and Perrier in the arena, right?
And you had never done any of this before.
No, none of
Which is a great story.
Yeah. So we set up a meeting with their people, and I did not have water, a can. I didn't have nothing. I had a cardboard like presentation of what the idea was.
Sure.
So we pitch them on the whole thing, and they love it. You know, they're like, no days off, matches the Heat culture.
Yeah.
Like, this is unbelievable. But obviously, they're like, okay, you
Where's
need
the
a
water?
product, and where's the water? So obviously, in the background, we are developing stuff.
Yeah.
So we had met a guy named Rodolfo that did water for Pepsi in Venezuela for 20 years.
Okay.
He came up with his new reverse osmosis system. It's a seven-step reverse osmosis system with ozone and ultralight and tonal pasteurization to absolutely take any water on the planet and get all the impurities out of it. And if you can do good water in Venezuela, you can do good water anywhere.
Yeah, right.
So we're doing this in Pembroke Pines, and we are developing our water. So it was very important to me coming out of the wellness industry and somebody that's going to be constantly drinking this. And the CEO of Liquid Death has constantly said he doesn't care what's in the can, that it's not even a water company. It's just
a marketing company,
which I get, and salute to him and congratulations. But for me, I want to have a premium water company. I want what's in this can to matter. And so we painstakingly went through about a 1.5-year process before we actually put out the water that we wanted. And now we have like a booklet like this big on how to make our water.
Isn't that crazy?
But it's literally, I kid you not, we do 400-page testing on all the waters out there, like all of them.
Wow.
And we are the purest water in the world. Like it's not even a debate. Like no one has the amount of dissolved solids that we have. Everybody has something in their water bad. Everybody.
Really?
Everybody has something bad in their water except for us. So, and that's what we're going to lean on. And then we're coming out obviously with our glass bottles, which kind of puts another stamp that we're premium. But yeah, so
because it's funny how I got introduced to the brand was the Heat games. I saw it, and then I work right behind in Doral, right by your thing. And I was like, oh, the water guy sponsored the gym, and then I got the whole brand. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, distribution, like where are you? I mean, obviously South Florida's your home, but like, are you guys everywhere?
Yeah. So, I love this story. I mean, it's one of my favorites. Obviously, we launched by ourselves.
Yeah.
So DSD. With direct service distribution or something like that. I can't remember what it stands for, but we bought a Sprinter van and decked it out, and and started selling our own water. And then we started with there's a Kickstarter program by a company called SAS that kind of gets you in the door in certain areas of Florida. So it's just to how to start, right? And then we did the Heat deal. But then one of my favorite things is we launched on Amazon. We sold, and this is a true story.
Yeah.
We sold in every single state, including Puerto Rico, in the first 60 days on Amazon. Yeah. I mean, it's wild.
And that's a tough sell because a beverage on Amazon is tough as shipping. It's a pain in the neck.
$28.99.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Amazon rapes you, but anyways. But that's really how we got the brand initially out there.
Yeah.
And then door to door. We have a phenomenal team. Dustin is a fantastic so Dustin, one of my head of ops, he used to be in the restaurant business. He used to own some bars. So he knew all the bar owners. So one of the things we've done is we've taken about 83% of Liquid Death's market share here. Like we've basically just basically get the hell out of our city, you know. And we have opened the eyes to beer distributors on an on-premise play. So what we are doing is we're, again, disrupting selling water in clubs, restaurants, bodegas, coffee shops,
it's everywhere in Miami.
Fireman Derek's, like, you know, all these places. So then what happened is kind of like you found out, is Reyes Holdings.
Yeah.
So who's the largest beer distributor in the country?
Yeah.
Out of Chicago. Yeah. They own about like 60% of beer distribution in the whole
massive.
country. They're massive. Massive. So what they have is they have subsidiaries in every different, not every state, but a lot of the states. They kind of like go like this on the map. So their subsidiary Gold Coast heard about us and said, and we were making noise because of our own distribution that we were building. And we were running into Gold Coast reps. And they're like, who the heck are these guys? And so they asked for a meeting. And then we absolutely crushed the meeting. And we signed with Gold Coast. So Gold Coast is the largest beer distributor in the state of Florida.
Okay.
And we opened up 1,090 accounts in the first 30 days with Gold Coast.
Damn.
And then simultaneously, we're still opening up our own stuff. So we really have made some noise with them.
Yeah.
Then Tennessee subsidiary, DET, reached out to Gold Coast and was like, hey, we want to bring this to Nashville. So we just launched in Tennessee on Monday, February 17th with Nashville. And we opened up 40 accounts on the first day in a snowstorm. And then we just signed with Alabev, who covers the entire state of Alabama.
Damn.
And we also just got approved by Walmart. So
good for you, man.
So things are, next steps is we'll work on Georgia and South Carolina, North Carolina. Our water is actually made in Mooresville, North Carolina. So eventually, obviously, that'll be a play. And then obviously I want to go to Texas. And then the ultimate game plan is you got to get into California. And California is where Reyes owns 70% of the beer distribution.
Jeez.
So you get in California and you're hitting a home run. So we are.
Dude, you got to get in Alabama. This should be all over Auburn.
Well, we just signed with Alabama, so it's happening.
Yeah, good.
It's definitely the kids coming home. So
there you go. The kids coming home.
Yeah.
Where did this entrepreneur bug come from? Did you always have it? Were you always having like little side business when you were young?
No,
or it just happened?
I believe that, and this is why I really believe in sports, is that, I thought I was going to be a professional football player.
Of course.
And then I thought I was going to be a movie star. And then I thought, I was going to be a model. And then, honestly, I thought that I was always like, when you walk in a room and everybody's like, who's that guy? I've always been that way. Yeah. And not because I look great or anything. It was just, I carry myself, and then that's been me since I was in second grade.
You always had style.
I was always my wife says I always want to be the center of attention.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to be. It just happens. All right. So, but I think that, what was the question? I just lost my.
Where did the entrepreneur bug come from?
Yes. Okay. So I think what happened is that when you're as competitive as I am, but the outlet is taken away from you, and then you're not the person who you've been telling everybody you were going to be. So you're telling everybody, I'm going to the pros. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that. And then that's taken away from you, and that's going to happen. Well, you better find something else to do.
Yeah, man.
And you better be great at it. And then, so I feel like I've always had a chip on my shoulder and then the fact that I train professional athletes and I was around that, and then also celebrities. So I'm flying in private jets and all that. I knew I needed to develop something that was bigger than just training people.
Yeah,
I knew that. So I think that's where the bug came in. And then also, I'm telling you, Shoe Dog was I can't stress enough. When I read that book, I was like, I'm gonna own a company bigger than Nike one day.
Yeah, man.
I said it out loud.
Yeah.
I believed it.
Yeah.
I still believe it to this day. And so it was really just it just spoke to me. It was like you can do this, man. If you do it every single day for the rest of your life, something's gonna happen. And that's what I've been committed to.
The wins add up.
Yeah.
Where's this business? What does this business look like in the next 5-10 years? Where do you think you're at?
Bigger than Nike. So
that's really big.
Yeah. I think that, again, obviously it would take probably 20 more years to do that, but in the next 5 years we'll be a national brand.
Yeah.
We will be opening up in Nashville, a Legacy in Nashville, 10,000 square foot facility in Germantown. We'll be disrupting that market that really needs a nice gym, like a nice brand that we're bringing to Nashville. We're doing Aventura in the next couple of years whenever they break ground. That's been like a 2-year delay. I have some things that I'm not going to speak about yet, but that I have.
That'll be episode 2.
Yeah, that I have. I'm going a little different. Another business that I'm working on. I truly believe that the waters are going to open up a lot of doors. Yeah. Because what the waters do is allows me to grow at a fast pace, where gyms are, you can only do 1, maybe 2 gyms a year. Because of the leases and the build outs and the construction and the people. So doing brick and mortar, you can only grow so fast. Right. But I truly believe that because you can grow the beverage brand fast, that what that's going to do is going to amplify our brand equity. Yeah. And then also I'm doubling down on media. I truly believe we live in this world that's headed towards media. So I need to be on the mic. I need to have awesome guests like yourself, and let's talk about things. I mean, we're seeing that. Like, we are our own commercials constantly. Yeah. So you got to lean into that space. And then just continuing to pour into those around me and making sure that I am building clones of myself as best as I can, so that these 20-year-old kids can do what I did, under the No Days Off umbrella. Yeah, man. But I tell all my staff that when they come on that, like, you can be a star within the umbrella, like, as long as you play that. Like, take advantage of 16 years of planting seeds. Lean on that, like You've done all the hard work, man. Yeah, it's crazy though how they'll pick an outfit, wear everything but your brand, and you're like, but you work for me. Like, it's wild. So.